here to help you with breeze, planting seeds and teaching skills. Teachers turn schoolyards to dreams. Who hate school gardens with ease?
What can parents do to help build a school garden? You're listening to the School Gardens with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Leila Mireskandari, and this is episode number 73. Throughout the years, I've seen many school gardens started by parents. Usually, these school gardens quickly fail. Honestly, I can't even give you one example of one that was successful. And the reason I use the word usually is because part of me is still hoping to see a successful example. Part of me would still like to believe there is a parent community somewhere who's making it work really well. So much so that they would call it a success. And I'm not talking about me saying that it was a success. Obviously, I have my own definition of success that I have talked about in the previous episodes many times. But I haven't seen one that the parents and the school community themselves call it a successful based on their definition of success. So please let me know if you know of a school garden community that was started and managed by parents and it was successful at least for 3 years, because we want some sustainability with the success too, right? So making it work for 1 year and then letting it go because it was way too difficult, well, that's not really successful, right? So whatever you define as success, if you have seen it somewhere done for at least 3 years, please let me know. You don't believe how much that would make me happy. I have not seen one. I have not found one. What I have heard a lot is on the contrary. There are a gazillion examples of parent-started school gardens failing very quickly, and the parents actually swearing that school gardens don't work and promising that they would never ever make such a big mistake of trying to do such a good thing ever again. And it's really easy for us to sit here and talk about that. But when you really think about it, we shouldn't forget that these experiences come after hours and hours of hard work and lots of sacrifices that is dedicated to the cause by the involved parents and teachers as well. Usually teachers, get dragged into it as well. Hours of meetings and coordinations, lots of volunteering and fundraising, lots of conflict resolution, too many expectations, a lot of finger pointing, resentments, and nerves go into this. It really is difficult. It's a difficult experience, and I really feel for them. The overall experience of these parents who come into this with golden hearts and the best intentions and a lot of hope, unfortunately ends up being frustration and exhaustion with not much to show for it. The reason is clear. Well, it wasn't clear at first to me. It has become clear to me after well over a decade of working in this field, doing research and studying it. This keeps happening because anything that has the word school in it is supposed to be related to education. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So what's the point of having a school garden? It must be the education. If it's not, if it's something else, I really don't know what you're talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. A school garden is for education. I think we can all agree on that. And for that simple reason, growing one is not the parent's job. Just like any other subject, teaching how to grow food is not the parent's job, at least when it happens at the school. I'm not saying parents shouldn't teach their kids at home. I mean, they can do whatever they want at home. But the school is not their place to teach. It would be like parents wanting to come in the classroom and teach math or geography. It's that silly. If we are sending our kids to school, like if you're homeschooling, then we're not talking about that. We're talking about school gardens located at day schools, right? So if we're sending our kids to school, then we should let teachers educate them. I mean, that's the point of sending them to school, right? You can't forcibly mix parents into the school day and expect it to work. It's not their place. Let me remind you that I started this work as a parent, not as a teacher. So I'm on your side. I was not an educator back then at all. I do have a soft spot for parents who want to do this. I get it. But it's not your place, and it's outside your capability, capacity, and expertise. And that's essentially why it doesn't work. Now, there are a few arguments to that. One is, well, it's not the teacher's expertise either. Most teachers don't know how to grow food. Most teachers don't even want to grow a garden and teach this. So should we just accept that and do nothing about it? Good point and a very good question. The answer is, if teachers, none of the teachers at your child's school want to do this, then too bad. Yes, the answer is you should do nothing. Accept that your child will not have a school garden. There is no way around this. This is the teacher's place, not yours. You are more than welcome to grow a garden at home or find a community garden and get a plot there and teach your kids there. But you don't get to do that at the school. Sorry. Remember, you're hearing this from someone who has dedicated her life to this cause. I want every school to have a school garden. That's my dream. That's what I'm working towards. But that cannot be accomplished by force. If I am telling you that if none of the teachers at your child's school wants to do this, you should completely give up the idea of a school garden, unless you can convince at least one teacher, just listen to me, please. Save yourself from the trouble. And there's a good news about this. The good news is that only one teacher is enough. Like, you don't need all the teachers of the entire school to grow a school garden. Just one teacher is enough. Remember that even if you do build one school garden for them, they will not use it if they don't want to do it. So don't waste your time and energy and money. I'd say don't even start on anything before you have the commitment or at least the enthusiasm of at least one teacher. So, to answer your question, yes, you should do nothing in that case. Now, what if teachers do want to do it, but they don't have the expertise? Well, expertise for what? Teaching anything, growing food included, first and foremost requires teaching skills. If we compare parents and teachers, the group that has teaching skills is obvious. Now, the second skill that's required is growing food in a school environment. I repeat, not just growing food in a school environment, because it's very different. Maybe the teachers don't know this skill, don't have the skill, but parents don't either. If you bring a master gardener from outside school who is not a teacher, they not only don't have the teaching skills, they don't know how to grow a school garden either. A garden, yes. A school garden, no. Because growing a school garden requires more than knowledge of growing food. It requires knowledge of school schedule and restrictions and challenges of the school environment and classroom environment and tightness and scarcity of time that teachers always face, etc., etc. So what can we do then, Leila? So you're sitting here and telling us to give up? What you should do is find those willing teachers and get them trained. The worst thing you can do is to tell those teachers that you will help them do it. You will volunteer for them. No, don't do that, because you have absolutely no clue how it's done, what to do and what not to do. And that's where I come in with my trainings and coaching and support, to the extent of giving them done for you lesson plans, step-by-step guides and schedules, and that fit right into their classroom settings and time and connect to their curriculum. Now, another argument I hear is, let us parents build a garden for them first, and then the teachers who are willing to do this come and do it, come and use it. This is not a good idea, even if there are teachers who want to do this, Because if there are none, well, we're done. There is no project, right? But if there are, you still shouldn't build a garden and give it to them. That's not how school gardens work. That's not how this type of education works. As I mentioned in my, I think, a very recent episode of this podcast just recently, school gardens are not in any form or way the same as other school facilities. A library needs to be built first and then used. A science lab needs to have the instruments and tools and then used. A gym needs the equipment and then it's used. But a school garden starts in the regular classrooms with seeds and potting soil. Seedlings are grown in the classroom first. The garden is designed, built, planted by the students themselves, as growing food means doing all of that. This is a hands-on project. The learning happens by doing. The best way is to start with a classroom garden done by the students under the teacher's leadership while the garden is connected to the curriculum the first year. And then the teachers move on to an outdoor garden starting from the second year and expand it as they go. But again, you don't build the garden, give it to them, and they just use it. That's not how it works. Now, how can parents help? By funding the teachers' training and the supplies they need, and also by volunteering to water during the summer. Everything else needs to happen in the hands of the students under the teachings of their classroom teachers while the garden is connected to the curriculum of math and science and language and everything else. For done-for-you lesson plan packages, go to the link in the show notes, look for the Oasis program series. I explained these programs in detail in episode 72. The doors to it will close in less than a week at the end of February. I'll talk to you next week in another episode. You've listened to the entire episode, and for that, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And please share this episode with other teachers who might be interested in this topic. See you next week for a new episode.